Hi, welcome back to my channel. I am Ade, otherwise known as the Black Carnivore, and today I wanted to answer a question that I get all the time, which is about grass-fed meat, whether we should be eating it. Is it really important? So I think that's a great question, and one that I've kind of gone back and forth on. So at this point, I do think that you should look for the best quality meat that you can afford and have access to, whatever that is. And not everybody can eat grass-fed meat all the time, and good quality grass-fed meat for that matter. Now that is important to people, I see that label put a lot of places. I don't necessarily know even what that means. Is it really good quality? So I'm not sure that when you're at the supermarket and you see a container that says grass-fed versus just the regular ground beef, whether that really is a meaningful difference necessarily. So I feel like I hate to put restrictions on this way of eating such that it becomes more of an obstacle or a burden for people to do. So from that perspective, I say, get the best quality meat that you can get and then don't worry about it. Eating regular grass-fed, eating regular beef from the supermarket, you're already, 85-90% of the way, so don't worry about it. Now, if you really do want to take your health to the next level and you want to do, really, really high quality stuff, then, it might be important to get grass-fed meat. But then, how do you make sure that that is really good quality meat? I do order from Belcampo, and they're a regenerative farm in California. And, not only is the meat, organic and healthy, but they're also doing regenerative farming, which is, kind of a different approach where what they're doing is also rebuilding the soil, and it's not taking from the soil in the way that regular agriculture does. So that being said, I can feel good that the meat that I'm buying is not only healthy and the animals are healthy, but it's actually bringing health to the earth rather than destroying it. So if you use my code, I do have a code at Belcampo, you get 10% off if you use the code ADAY10. And but even without that, I definitely recommend it. Now, it's not cheap, so there is that. But I think it's worth trying to mix some of it into your diet if you can. Now, the other thing that can be problematic with grass-fed is that, we as carnivores, we need to eat fatty cuts of meat. We're not looking for lean meat. And a lot of times grass-fed meat is pretty lean, not necessarily because the animal is lean, but because, they're trimming it and cutting it for people who are looking for lean meat, and we are not. So that can be a little bit of a challenge. So in that case, I actually have to supplement with more fat that I get, from other sources. So that's something to consider. Not the end of the world, but something to consider. And the other thing that is the other reason why people will tell you that you need to get grass-fed meat is because it has a higher portion of omega-3. Now, I'm not sure that that is an important reason to get grass-fed beef. So I'm going to link to it above, but I recently did an interview with a carnivore cardiologist, and we talked about all of these kinds of issues, and we spoke specifically about omega-3. So, the problem with omega-3 is not, of course you want to make sure you're getting enough, but really the problem is that our ratio of omega-3 to omega-6 fatty acids is really, really skewed towards omega-6. And omega-6's fatty acids are very inflammatory. And so that's why part of why we have so much inflammation going on in our bodies. So when we remove all of the seed oils, the processed foods, and and vegetable oils, then we're removing most of the omega-6 that we're eating, and then you're just getting, the normal amount that comes in animal meat. So, although pork and chicken are also high in omega-6, so if you are very inflamed, you might need to remove those and really focus on the ruminant animals, which are not as high. So once you remove all of that, presumably your balance of omega-3 to omega-6 fatty acids come into line, and it's not necessary for you to supplement and get more omega-3, because what's in the animal that you're eating is balanced. So that was a discussion that we had. I think that's probably kind of right. If you wanted to eat fish or some other foods that are naturally high in omega-3 to try to raise it, then that would be fine, but it doesn't make sense to look for omega-3 from beef, because the amount that you get is not that much more. But one thing that is interesting that I saw, Belcampo, they do research on their animals, and they have found that their beef is the ratio of omega-3 to omega-6 is about 1-to-1, or a little slightly more than 1-to-1, 1 to 1.5. Whereas, at the grocery store, it can be as high as 1 to 20. So that's actually, pretty significant. And I think that, that probably represents a range of quality of meats at the grocery store. So I think it's important to remember too that when you're, at the grocery store, like every store, they're getting beef from different places. And remember, America is big, and you've got cows all the way from Washington State down to Florida. They're all going to be, different. What they're eating is different. The climate is different. So, there's a lot of differences. And so some beef will be, good quality stuff at the supermarket, and some won't. So, so that is kind of, a challenge, but I think, the way to deal with that is kind of, do the best that you can and get what you can at the supermarket that looks and smells and tastes good, and, order from places like Belcampo or, White Oak Pastures or other places like that. And then you'll do the best you can like that. And I want to give a shout out to the Southwest Black Ranchers, and they are coming along, and hopefully soon we'll be ready to start shipping meat as well. But they're pretty awesome, and I have an interview with them as well, which I'll link right here. So anyway, those are kind of my thoughts on grass-fed meat. And eat it if you can, if you like it, if you can afford it. If not, don't worry about it, and come back to it later. All right, have a great day.